is Kayla Clemens, Levi Sherman, and Nick Wells, and we're going to be going over the economics behind Coca-Cola today.
All right, so my name is Nick Wells, and first up, we've got supply, and supply is just how much a market can offer. The quantity supplied refers to the amount of a certain good producers are willing to supply at a certain price. Demand is how much of a product or service is desired by the buyers. The law of demand, which is basic law of economics, states that at higher prices, a lower quantity will be demanded than at lower prices, with all of the factors remaining constant. The law of supply states that if the price of a product increases, quantity supply will increase as the supplier will be willing to supply more to earn more profit. Some factors that affect demand are price of relative goods, which are substitute goods such as Pepsi. You've also got the consumer income with a direct relationship to demand. You've got taste and preference. You've got government policies. You've got time, such as festive times of the year or summer. You've also got age of population, but that's not being affected here because Coke targets all ages. Some determinants of supply is the price, and you've also got state of technology. Some advanced technology can lower your production costs. Number of consumers, since Coke is willing to supply to a large number of consumers, besides a small business would only provide a small number of people. You've also got the price of inputs, so labor costs or machinery. And then on the next slide, you have a typical demand curve and then a typical supply curve in the middle. And then on the right side, not typical supply curve, typical supply and demand curve. And then on the very right, you've got your end goal of market equilibrium, which is where your supply is equal to your demand. And then a real life instance of demand decreasing, that was in 2003. There's a false allegation of Coke and Pepsi having pesticides in their drink. This decreased the sales revenue in India by 11%, and this caused the graph to have a downward shift. All right, so my name is Levi Sherman, and I'm doing the price of Coca-Cola. So first, Coca-Cola's pricing is determined by the market price because it is a firm, and firms take the price given by the market. Coca-Cola is an oligopoly company. Even though the selling price is not determined by Coca-Cola itself, the firm can still use different pricing strategies to help influence consumers. The first strategy is psychological pricing. An example of this is when Coca-Cola changes $1.79 for a drink, ending the price in $9 influences customers to believe it is under $1.80. The second strategy is promotional pricing. Coca-Cola lowers the price of their product for a short period of time to attract customers and improve short-term cash flow. The third strategy is segmented pricing. This strategy varies the price of the product depending on what it is packaged in. The cost of using different packaging is not high, allowing Coca-Cola to make more revenue at different prices. The fourth strategy is discriminatory pricing. Discriminatory pricing is pricing Coca-Cola differently based off where it is sold. For example, a hotel, supermarket, and restaurant all have 3 different pricing on the same product. When a different distributor enters the field, such as Pepsi or another soft drink company, Coke uses the second pricing strategy to keep its customers loyal by temporarily lowering the price of the product. And this slide just shows different instances of these strategies taking place with the same number order as on the last slide.
My name is Kayla Clemens, and I'm going to be going over elasticity today. Elasticity is the measure of sensitivity to a change in price. Inelastic demand is when price does not affect the demand of a good. An example of an inelastic good is insulin. It's a necessity, so the demand will not change when price increases. Inversely, elastic demand is when the demand for a good does change based on price. An example of this is in 2018 when Coca-Cola raised the price of canned goods due to a tariff put on aluminum, which is a material needed to finalize the production of the good. With this being said, economics implies that as the demand for canned Coca-Cola decreased, the demand for bottled soda increased because plastic is used for bottled sodas. In an elastic demand graph, there is a larger slope as shown in the picture because the change in price leads to a smaller percentage in change in demand. It's inversely for elastic demand. This is all we have for you today. Thank you for listening to the Economics Behind Coca-Cola.